What is up, everybody? Trevor here again with another Facebook Live video. It has been a while. When did I even finish that 30-day challenge? It feels like it's got to be a couple months, I think. So I've got a video for you guys today because I had one of the most incredible experiences of my life this last week. Spending 6 nights in silence at a Zen Buddhist monastery. And I gotta tell you guys about it because my life will never be the same. It sounds a little cheesy, but I learned a lot about myself and my mind and what I'm capable of and about the world by sitting in silence for 6 nights and meditating a lot. So yeah, this might be a long one. I learned, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that went through my head when you're sitting still for that long. But let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, I am wearing a giant onesie. It's got the abominable snowman on it. It zips all the way down. Oh, and it's so soft. It's got pockets. Go to Walmart, 20 bucks. I don't know, I bought this a couple of years ago. So let's talk about this Zen monastery experience and what I learned. I guess I'm using this Facebook Live video as a way to quantify my experience, for me to just talk and ramble and try and make sense of everything that just happened. And yeah, live is a good way to do it because I'm just being me and I'm just talking. Alright. Let's see, where to start. I went to Great Vow Zen Monastery in Clatskanie, Oregon. It's about 3 hours away from me. You drive south to like Longview, and then drive east down the river a little bit. Crazy cool views looking out. On the way there it was so rainy, like torrential downpour pouring on me, and it was stressful driving. Hydroplaned a few times, but I made it, nothing major. And this is in an old school, and I think the school was called Quincy Mager Elementary School. Something like that. It's on the side of the building. For some reason, I forgot to take a picture. I uploaded some pictures that I took there on I went for like a nature walk. You can check those out too. So it's in this old elementary school. I don't know when it was created. It's been there at least a few decades, 30 years, 40 years maybe. And it's run by monks, Zen Buddhist monks. And what is Buddhism? What is Zen Buddhism? That is a really hard thing to describe. Zen Buddhism is like the practice of stilling your mind and finding a clarity and a concentration and just a zen that you carry from meditation. That's where you kind of can really experience it when you're sitting in stillness. And you can carry that into the rest of your life, into your work, into your eating, into everything. You can take this from meditation and it'll last the entire day. So, in this old elementary school, I got there on Monday night, about 4 p.m., and this sesshin is what it's called. Sesshin is usually somewhere between 4 and 10 days of total silence, so you're not talking to anybody else. You do some chanting. So we had chants we do before meals. We'd have chants we do in the zendo or the meditation area, and before meditation, after meditation. And we had a very strict schedule of meditation, meals, work, sleep, repeat. So I got there on Monday night and we just had one meditation. Meditation's broken up into these 2-hour blocks, 2.5 hours depending on the time of the day. And you've got Zazen, which is called, I guess just means just sitting. You're just sitting there, trying to sit there in total silence, not move. Then you also have Kinyin. Kinyin is a walking meditation. Put your hands together and you walk around, basically do loops around the seats for 10-15 minutes. The Zazens are like 25 minutes. So you'd get 4 Zazens in that 2-hour block, 2 Kinyins, 2 walking meditations to break it up, and a couple bells where you can go, oh, and adjust your posture and make sure you're sitting straight. So the whole retreat, these 6 nights, Monday we went into silence. Sunday, we came out of silence. The basic routine schedule is built around these meditation blocks, and we had 4 of them. So it ended up being somewhere like 4 or 8 to 9 hours a day of meditation, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Sitting still for that long is really, really challenging. But let me finish talking about the schedule. So we have these blocks of meditation. We also have had 2 formal meals. Breakfast was a formal meal. Lunch is a formal meal. You get out of meditation, you have 3 bowls that you have with you in the entire week that you carry from the zendo, the meditation area, to the cafeteria. Eat, chant, eat, chant again. Get up, go back to the zendo, chant, and then you'd have a break. So the breaks were usually, I just use them to go lay down or to go take a nap, because we're getting like 6 hours of sleep a night, maybe. We get out at like 9:45, 10 p.m. and we start at 4:20. We get woken up at 4:20 a.m. every day, so they sleep deprive you, they make you meditate a lot, and then you also have a work period that's in the day. That's where you take what you're working on, your stillness, your clarity from the zendo, and you carry it out into your daily activity. My work period was in the garden, and they put me to work. And I will come back to that, because that too was a part of the entire experience. This is my list of stuff I brought with me. I haven't erased it yet off my whiteboard. You can see I brought my vape. We're in silence, so nobody said anything. A few people saw me vaping, but I don't think the monks would hate on me too hard. In terms of packing wise, I brought way more clothes than I needed. I basically wore the same shirt every day when I was working, because I knew I was going to get muddy and dirty. I wore pretty much the same shirt in the meditation, long sleeve. I also wore a sweatshirt depending on how cold it was. They keep the windows open to ward off drowsiness. So it's like 50 degrees outside. It's probably 55 degrees in the zendo because I'm by the window. So sometimes you need a sweatshirt. And I only had 2 pairs of pants that I really wore, one for meditation, one for work. So this experience was the most challenging thing I've ever done. Mentally, physically, emotionally. This pushed me, like, I did not think I was going to make this after the first full day. And every single day of this retreat, I think I might even have been the first night. The first night wasn't so bad because it was only 1 meditation, and I could get through 2 hours of that. But throughout the week, I cried every single day. And each day it was kind of for a different reason. And let's talk about that first. So this sesshin is like it's supposed to be purifying, like cleansing your mind. And if you have kind of held up emotions or things that you've been hiding or trying to avoid, feelings, that they're going to come forth when it's just you and just yourself, and there's nobody to talk to. There's no bullshit for you to distract yourself with. If you need to deal with something, it's going to happen when you're just sitting there and that's all you can think about. So my first full day, it was really, really painful. So painful. I know I'm saying, oh, you're just meditating, you're just sitting on a chair, you're just sitting on the floor. How bad can that be? That sounds like a nice relaxing day. But 8 hours of that is not easy. And you're trying to stay completely still. So I have like a little meditation bench that I made that I sit on when I do my daily meditations. And I tried that. I pretty much found out immediately that was not going to work. I could not sit on that thing for 2 hours at a time. So I moved to sitting on the floor with zafus. The zafu is a round pillow that they sit on. And that worked for a while, but I was still moving a lot. And the pain moved from my ankles and my knees to my hips to my back. And eventually it all ended up in my neck and in my shoulders. And it was excruciating. Why did I have so much pain there? That's a great question. I got really big arms, so they're probably pretty heavy. And they got to be held up by my shoulders. I got anxiety, and I kind of stress out about stuff, and my mind goes off, and I probably carry stress in my shoulders and in my neck. That's my guess at why that was the spot where it ended up. But this pain was excruciating, and the first day, like, I really doubted whether or not I was going to be able to do this for 6 days, whether I could stick out this pain, because I wasn't sure it was going to get any better, and this experience, being in silence, being completely removed, and yeah, I doubted myself. Seriously doubted myself and my abilities and my strength, my mental strength, my physical strength, and I was thinking about leaving, if I'm being honest. I did not leave. I knew it was going to be a 3-hour drive, and I was not going to do that 3-hour drive unless I made it through the whole thing. So I pushed myself through the first full day, and it slowly got better. It got a little more manageable. The pain still was pretty bad, and that took me the entire week to learn how to deal with the pain. It didn't improve until Friday or Saturday, but throughout the week so many things happened, and so many experiences, so many epiphanies, so many aha moments, where you just, you just get something just finally makes sense, and it's incredible. So initially those tears were out of fear, out of doubt, doubt is a big one. I was doubting myself and my abilities. And as the week went on, like I said, I kept crying. I was crying every single day for something. There was this one chant we did at night. I should have brought the sheet with me. It's called Shanti Deva's Way of the Bodhisattva, and it was at the end of the day. Something about that they had this accordion thing, and then they had the singing bowls they ring. It was really moving, and it just spoke to me in a way that I couldn't help crying. So the meditation improved, and each day you also get this little window to go talk to the head monk, the guy that's running it. His name was Jogan, and you can ask him questions. You can tell him what you're experiencing. It's the only real one-to-one conversation you have throughout the entire week. And this guy, he's been doing this for decades. He's got a shaved head. He's got the robes. He's got this rakusan, which is kind of like a bib. And I asked him about it. You can think of all their outfits kind of like a martial arts black belt. And as they get more experienced and they get more committed, they add stuff and they look cooler. So the head monk's got the coolest robes, and then they've got progressively less cool robes and accessories as you go down. So, in case you were wondering about the robes. So I talked with him, and the first day I went to him crying, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. My mind is clear. I've been meditating for 6 months every day, and I can get that. But there was something in my chest that was just heavy, and in my throat, and I eventually figured that out, that it was me doubting myself, like I've mentioned a couple times. But throughout the week, he's kind of, like I said, that one guy you could go talk to and be like, this is what I'm experiencing, and how do I get through it? In addition to all this chanting, this meditating, they do what's called a Dharma talk. And a Dharma talk is 30 minutes, 60 minutes of this monk who's been doing this for a long time, and who has a pretty well-grounded sense of the world and experience and Buddhism, among a lot of things. And he gives a talk, and he talks about a subject, and you just sit there and listen. So that was another part of that whole experience where I was like, each of these monks had a different way to explain your view of the world, and the way to approach it, and the way to be you, and to be present, to take your mind in, take your body in, make it still, make them one. And that spoke to me. So I was crying. I just kept crying. And it felt amazing. Because eventually, I don't know if you've ever done this, I don't know if you ever cried and laughed at the same time. It is such an incredible feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a giddiness. You're tears of joy. Maybe that's another good word for it. You can cry because you're happy, because something is so beautiful, and because you're experiencing something. So I still get that giddiness now. I get this lightness in my chest because I think about something in this way, and that's a great takeaway from this week. So what else about the schedule haven't I talked about? I had to work. There's a work period, and my work session was in the garden. And I'm kind of glad I was in the garden, because I got to be outside. Everything else was inside throughout the day, and I got to just go do physical labor. There's something rewarding about just doing physical labor and just shoveling gravel, shoveling compost, trying to dig out a root, and what else was I doing? sifting gravel out of dirt. That was the other thing I did. But this is, like I mentioned earlier, this work period is where you take your Zen and you bring it into the world. It's easy to be quiet, and it's easy to be still, and it's easy to be present, and your mind focused and your body one together with it when there's no distractions, when you're just in a room sitting in a chair. Then you gotta go out into the real world and put all this into practice and try to maintain it. And it made you think. So the overall message of this session, or the intention we said at the start, is gratitude, and learning to be grateful for what you have, grateful for your experiences, good and bad, and yeah, how to have more gratitude. And it worked. I am grateful for the life I have and the experiences I've had, the hard work I've put into my life to get where I am, and that's awesome. It's okay to be grateful and to take a moment and say, I've done an incredible job, and I have all of these incredible people that have helped me along the way to make me who I am. So gratitude is the message, and we'd have mantras for kind of have an overall mantra. A mantra is like a short phrase or words that kind of refocus you and make you think about this overall message of gratitude. So the first one was, thank you very much, I have no complaints. Yeah. So this one was tough for me, and it kind of came to me, I think after a couple days of the sitting, 20 hours in, I realized that I don't complain a lot. It's just not what I do. I try to fix stuff, and if it's broken or if I'm sad, I get myself active, or I think about it and I find a way, but I don't complain. And I realized that that's not enough. That all of these, the reason I don't have to complain is because I have all of these people around me. I have this Sangha, another word is a community, a group of my family, my friends that support me, and that's the reason my life is so awesome. I have to be grateful for that. And not complaining isn't enough. Saying thank you and letting all of these people know that how much it means to me, that they're there for me, and that I can be who I am. The tears are coming. I'm going to try not to cry, but I'm going to be smiling if I cry. So it's good. It's a good feeling. Like I said, it makes you, it's hard to describe unless it happens. So that was kind of the first mantra. Another one we had was, I gotta think for a sec. What am I being given right now? What am I being given in this present moment? There's always a gift, and depending on your outlook on the world and the way you approach things and the way you interpret events, things can be either good or bad, and it's all up to you. Either you can always find some kind of good in anything that happens to you. Injuries, illness, accidents, everything is a learning experience that you can grow from. So to learn to be grateful for the good and for the bad is really something powerful that can help you just be happier, and you're going to change kind of the way you look at things. So those are the two main mantras that I remember, and specifically how I put them into practice was one of my days in the working in the garden. The girl or woman that was leading my group was named Mioyu, I think was her name. And so we did you could do a little bit of talking. If there was something you couldn't do by pointing and shaking your hands, then you could have a whisper conversation. So she takes me over into this garden. She goes, I want you to dig out this tree stump. We're going to need to get the tractor to pull it out, but do your best. I was like, damn, all right. So I now have this task of hard physical labor that I am not going to be able to finish in an hour and a half. I just can't do it. I'm not a tractor. I'm pretty damn strong. Maybe that's why she picked me. And I worked my ass off to get that root out. I dug a big ass hole. I chopped off as many branches as I could. I don't know what that one at the bottom is called, the big one that goes in deeper, but couldn't chop that one out with this shovel. My shovel did have spikes, which was really nice. That helped me cut stuff up, cut those roots off, and yeah. So using those mantras, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, thank you very much. I have no complaints. And that one for me was, I'm an active person. I work out, I do yoga, and now I'm sitting all day, and I get this 90 minutes of physical labor where I get to exercise, and I get to sweat, and I just get to not worry about the other stuff. I just get to put in the work. So that was how I implemented that first mantra, that even this hard manual labor can be something positive, and then I can enjoy it and learn from the experience. So the second mantra, similar, I realized in saying, what am I being given in this moment? That I'm getting what I want. I'm getting some work. I was eating so much food. It was all vegetarian. A few dishes had milk and eggs, but it was all vegetables. All of their food comes from donations from the attendees, from the community, and what's grown on the ground. So lots of vegetables, lots of grains. The food was delicious. I know I just said I don't have any complaints. My one note on the food, I don't eat a lot of vegetables and carbs, so I was really bloated. I was farting a lot. I don't think I've ever pooped that many times in 1 week, because like I said, that was a lot of fiber. So that's just a side note. That's not a big complaint. I was always full. I was well fed, and it was awesome to have that experience, that formal eating. You eat, chant, you wash your bowls. The really cool thing was that those 3 bowls you kept the entire week, and every meal you kind of prayed to the Buddha, you took some food as sacrifice isn't the right word, an offering to the Buddha. You eat your meals, and then you wash your bowls with hot water, you stack them back up, and you take them with you, and those are just your bowls. So all of these things were amazing experiences, and I could keep talking forever and ever about how these things affected me, but I'll try and wrap it up for brevity's sake and just sum it up with, what did I learn in 6 days being silent at a monastery? True happiness comes from your mind and your body being one together. It's easier to be present in your body because it's physical and you can feel it, but it's a lot harder to stay present in your mind. It's very easy to lose yourself in the past and things that have happened to you before. It's very easy to get caught up in worrying about the future and where things are going and what's going to happen to you. And it's hard to be right here in this moment in your body and just be present, to be still. So that's the most important thing I learned, was how to be still, how to connect my mind and my body. One of the things from one of the Dharma talks I took away was when your mind and your body become one, when you become present, and if you can maintain that presence, you truly meet yourself. It might not make sense to you, but I met myself for the first time. My mind and my body were together in the same place at the same time for an extended period of time, and I was just me and my thoughts and my experiences, and it was time to think. Another takeaway: the way you approach events and things that have happened to you in your life come down to the way you interpret them. Things can be good and things can be bad, but that's just a way to define things. Everything you can learn from, and you should be grateful for your experiences that you've had. You can learn from these bad experiences, you can learn from these good experiences, you'll heal from both of them, but you need both of them in order to grow. If life was all good and cushy, well, life's never all good and cushy. Life sucks and then you die. That's kind of the sad truth. And that's one of the nice things about Buddhism is this acceptance that you're going to die one day, but that's okay. This body is going to go into the ground and help give life to something new after you're gone. And depending on which tradition and karma and reincarnation you want to believe in, I'm a little iffy on the reincarnation part. I think that's a little fanciful, but I like all the rest of the Buddhism stuff. So I learned a lot, and I highly encourage you guys, check out meditation. If you don't have a meditation experience, do not start with 6 nights in silence. It's incredibly difficult. And they tell you that this is going to be hard. And for me, it was painful and emotional. And that's why it was so valuable, because I suffered through this. I've suffered through a lot up to this point, but this week of suffering, of this pain and the tears, sounds cheesy, but it was transformative. Another word I heard in our final group circle where we got to sit down with everybody. The last night there ended up being 56 people in the Zendo. That includes residents that live there as well as the guests like me that come and show up, and then the monks. So there was a lot of people in the Zendo, but one guy said it really well, that it was a heart-opening experience. My heart grew bigger. My appreciation for what I have and the people I have in my life expanded. And yeah, the thing I learned, I'm grateful for what I have. And yeah, I hope you guys can try meditation. It's a simple way to start clearing your mind, focusing your body, learning to be still in your body. It's not easy, and it takes practice. Start small, start with 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, work your way up. Now I try and do 25 minutes a day. I'd like to start adding 25 minutes at night too. Right now I'm just doing it in the morning, so that's my short-term goal. I'm also bowing a lot more. We did a lot of bowing. Thank you for watching, guys. This has been a long video. Like I said, I'm kind of just going about all this stuff that happened to help get it set in my mind, because this was an amazing experience and I just have so much to think about. Thank you for watching. Maybe I'll do another live video soon. Hope you guys have a great week and that you're grateful for everything you have in your life and the experiences you get.